You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This looks to be a really big game, big week for Cayden Lee. It's something that is interesting to me and how it could go. But Cayden Lee could be the player that has an absolutely huge game. Listen, over the course of this whole offseason, Cayden Lee has been the player that has been attached at the hip with Austin Simmons, whether having throwing sessions or practicing down in Miami or wherever they're meeting up. Cayden Lee has done his part to get that situated. He's put on 10 pounds of good weight this season. I think he played last season at 169, 170 pounds. He's up to 181 this year, and it's all good weight, he says. It's somebody that he put on weight in the weight room that's going to help his durability. That is going to make the slot position even a little bit more explosive. Cayden Lee is the type of football player that has a chance to lead the entire Southeastern Conference in receiving. If you don't believe me, look what Lane Kiffin did with Elijah Moore. Matt Corral had another relationship with Elijah Moore in 2020, and they used it. I think Elijah Moore played 8 games over the course of that season or something like that. He didn't play it against LSU. He didn't play in the bowl game. He still had a ton of catches. And it was somebody that had almost his brain just attached with Matt Corral. And because of that, they put up big numbers. And Cayden Lee kind of has that relationship with Austin Simmons. They got here at the same time. So they have some familiarity with each other. Now, if you look at what else you need to watch for in that game, I think Lane Kiffin traditionally builds his offense around the strength of his team. That is the way that works. He is somebody that pretty consistently puts together a strength offense out there. In 2020 and 2021, it was very run and gun Matt Corral looking. In 2022, when you didn't have that strong of quarterback play, it was Zach Evans and Quinshon Judkins. In 2023 and 2024, it was very Jackson Dart centric. The receivers put up big numbers as well. I think this year could be a little bit of a balance type situation because of the processing ability of Austin Simmons. Austin Simmons is going to be able to diagnose stuff earlier. The ball is going to get out of his hand. And because of that, the offense is going to look a little bit differently this season. The other thing to look out for is, will Damien Taylor and Trinidad Chambliss both have specialty roles versus the Georgia State Panthers? And what I mean by that is, will Damien Taylor be the wildcat running back near the goal line or in short yardage? Will he be the J.J. Pegues this year? And will Trinidad Chambliss have something similar in the red zone as well? 2 little gimmicks that Ole Miss has shown in the past that they have been willing to do will be available for them. And Trinidad Chambliss can really run, as can Damien Taylor. I am going to be interested to see what it looks like in the red zone and in short yardage, because that is where Ole Miss struggled a year ago. Even against Furman and Wake Forest and Georgia Southern and Middle Tennessee, it was 4th and short. When the other team knew that it was coming, it was hard to run the ball. Will Damien Taylor and Trinidad Chambliss kind of work to secure a difference in that? That is something I'm going to be paying very close attention to over the course of the game. And is the secondary a hold your own unit right now, where you not are overcompensating for them on the defensive side of the ball? Will the secondary be able to hold their own against Georgia State to where you can play that team completely straight up? If you have trouble getting a pass rush because you have to drop more people back in zone coverages against Georgia State, that's a problem. That's a red flag. So will Ole Miss's front line be able to singly hold their own against essentially the rushing game of Georgia State? They're pretty good. They got a couple of former Ole Miss backs in Rashad Amos and Jordan Simmons, and they also have Branson Robinson, the kid from Germantown. We'll talk to David Schultz all about that, but they have some weapons. This isn't last year where you opened up against the Furman Paladins. This isn't that team. This is opening up about 3 levels higher than that. Georgia State, pretty good team. Like I said, they beat Vandy last year. Vandy went to a bowl game, beat Georgia Tech, lost to the other team in Atlanta. So it will be interesting to see exactly how that turns out. A couple other players that are lining up real quick. You got Deshaun Stribling, 52 catches, 882 yards at Oklahoma State a year ago, had 6 touchdowns. You have Harrison Wallace III, 46 catches, 720 yards, 4 touchdowns. And the tight end, that's the most interesting positions to me. You have Daquan Wright at the start, 27 catches, 394 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He had a really good Gator Bowl. He's somebody to pay attention to. And the other name to know at the tight end position is probably going to be Trace Bruckler. Had 22 catches, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. So it should be really interesting to see. Ole Miss is exactly where they want to be going into the season, but it starts off with Georgia State. That's the what to watch for. You've heard keys. And in the first segment, we talked about why Austin Simmons legitimately has a chance to be the best quarterback in the SEC. It's not even messing that up. He just has a chance. And it might be more questions on the other quarterbacks that allows that to happen, but his tools are right there to be able to handle that. That in the Lane Kiffin system, he's going to be pretty good. Anyway, today in Ole Miss Trivia, we're talking about season openers from 1992. In 1992, Ole Miss opened the season with the Auburn Tigers, and they would win that game 45-21. Who returned a fumble 92 yards that led to a blowout win against the Auburn Tigers? Put your answer down in the socials below. We will put out the answer on social media a little bit later on today. Thank you for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your go-to source for Ole Miss sports. We pride ourselves in offering the most comprehensive perspectives, which is why we are the front door of Ole Miss. If you don't believe me, check out Ole Miss Podcast on Google. Just Google it and see how much we come up. So don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the podcast, comment on the podcast. Your support means the world to us. Subscribe to the audio podcatchers, all of that stuff. For your second listen, though, check out the Portal Show. Brian Smith has the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings. Be the most informed fan on the rapid changes to the college football landscape. Find the Portal wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, if you have an Amazon Fire Stick, check out College Football Kickoff. Eventually, if Ole Miss wins games, yours truly will be on Amazon Fire TV Kickoff. So that would be pretty interesting there. So check that out. If you have a Amazon Fire TV, it's on the Amazon Fire TV channels app, so you can check that out. So hotty toddy, everybody. Remember, analytics is just the old English word that means bad football. We'll see you tomorrow.